It's time to start running!
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the home of the Ghost Owl. And yeah, we're on our Wednesday night stream, and we weren't going to play Dune Awakening until I got back from the travel I'm going to be doing with work for the next couple of weeks, because we were playing with Path of Exile 2. But of course, as always, just before I'm about to go away somewhere, we get an expansion, a DLC, a new patch, new release. Happened with Last Epoch, happened with Path of Exile 2, happened with Battlefield 6, beta test. So basically, if there's anything cool going on, you can be guaranteed that I'm going away with work somewhere or on vacation. So, that being said, I did want to at least do one stream today. We'll see, maybe we need another one tomorrow, I don't know, of Dune Awakening. But first of all, let's check out this DLC. So, if we go to Steam, because they're saying this is a major update. Now, the Chapter 2 is a free update, which is the story part, and then there's the Lost Harvest DLC. Okay, so, right, let's go check the DLC. Let's go here. And let's have a look.
Mayday! Mayday! This is the Guild Harvester Mithra! Our carry-on is taking heavy fire. There's black smoke, and they're not responding to comms. Carry-on hit! We're going down!
Will you search the wreck for any other survivors?
Well, that's the cinematic for the DLC. I have to say, compared to some of the cinematics that they've done as part of the main game story, that wasn't particularly great. I mean, they've done some amazing cinematics, right, playing the base game story. So, the other thing, let's take a look at, because they're saying this is a major update, and that didn't look too major to me. So we're going to take a look at the patch notes as well, because there could be huge stuff in the patch notes as well, right? So here's the patch notes. Right, it's continuing story chapter 2. Yep, new and familiar, new locations. Okay. Dynamic encounters, ability to recustomize character's appearance. Some people might care about it, don't care about that. Quality of life changes. Okay, that's interesting. Bug fixes and improvements. I don't really call that a DLC. And my understanding is the story's free. So, quality of life changes, recustomize appearance, bug fixes, improvements. It for me is not a DLC. Okay. So that's the hot fix that came out. That's a bunch of fixes. Not going to focus too much on that. You can read the patch notes yourself. Right, highlights then. Introduced a new storyline. So this my understanding, this is free, right? Is it free? I thought it was free. Continue the main story directly after the events of Find the Fremen Assassin's Handbook. New. Introduced a new DLC journey storyline, The Lost Harvest. Renaming functionality for placeables and vehicles. Okay. I mean, not bad. Sometimes when you're looking to get a buggy, you know, you've got like 2 buggies or like a bunch of Thopters in the base. Which one is it? Auto run toggle. Useful. After completing advanced trainer contracts, now rewards an exclusive armor set. Okay. So 5 armor sets based on the trainers. Added a new weapon, the Adept Missile Launcher. Storage capacity for assault ornithopters has been increased. Not what I wanted. Not gonna lie. Assault ornithopters in my mind should be attack. Scout should be scout. And if you want people to carry a crap ton of stuff, then either have a carrier that can have a storage capacity, or in its underslung as opposed to underslinging a buggy, it should undersling a container. You drop the container, load the container up, and then you fly the carrier in to pick said container up or something like that. I really don't like the idea of turning the assault thopter into a hauler, a cargo carrier. And character recustomizer, like I said, I don't really care about that. Maybe some do, but yeah, okay. New tattoos, new hairstyles, covered in armor most of the time, right? Okay. Features and changes. Technical stability. Server stability, anti-cheat. Number of assets in certain locations has been reduced to improve performance. Improved performance around Mesa Terrell. Tim Golick. Gaulik, I don't know how you exactly pronounce that. Hopefully I'm close. Hoping they add a tanker module for the carrier to move large amounts of water. Yeah, I agree. Like, I wish they had, like, I think the carrier, it's got this cool underslung ability, right, where you can pick up the buggy and fly around with it underneath. I really think they could add, like, a container where you could load a ton of stuff into it. A water tanker, like you say, so you could put loads of water into it. Something like that, to have the carrier pick it up, fly it, drop it off, I think would be really cool. So I'm with you there, Tim. I agree. I think they need to do more with that and not keep improving the cargo capacity of the assault thopter. Right, resources building and crafting improved. How building piece rotation works with controller. I don't care about that. Mouse and keyboard. Players have now more opportunities to build in shield wall section of deep desert. Yeah, okay, I guess it was getting pretty busy on some servers. Part of the issue I have with that is some of the smallest areas have the best resources. Personally, I think they'd have been better off if they had more areas around the edges, like almost have like the middle, like the low tier stuff. And then as you go further out the map, and then there would be benefits to having an aluminium region on the edge of the map that you can fly in and out of. Right now, everybody wants to be in the shield wall because that's where you're flying in and out of, and you've got all the high tier resources. Personally, I think they should have spread those high tier resources into further regions around the edge. But it is what it is. But yeah, you're pushing everybody with their big bases into a small part of the map, because for the rest of the game, very, very rarely do you need to go anywhere else, right? Once you've got those high tier areas, right? Because why, other than cobalt paste, okay, so I need a buggy to go in the gorge. I need to fly down to the radiation area, but those are both on the edges, and flower sand. It's pretty much the only thing. I mean, there's very little other stuff that you need from these lower tier areas, but those lower tier areas make up a huge part of the map. Right. Players have added renaming functionality. I mean, that's potentially useful for base organization, right? Depending on how big your base is. There you go. You can rename your containers and all that. Okay, good. Right, combat. So for me, the biggest issue was melee combat, but we'll see. That's okay. Homing rockets now disengage if they travel at an angle of 90 degrees or more. Basic rocket launchers got lock-on functionality. Dashing out of abilities has VFX. NPCs should now activate shields when they spot an enemy. Didn't they do that before? Maybe only when you attack them. I don't know. Ideally, with the sniper, you should still be able to snipe out them before they put the shield on, right? Sprint attacks, easier to aim. Bin, I didn't use that. While in Spice Prescience, you can see stamina bar of other players. Great if you're a PvP. I'm not. I'm a PvEer. If you die in a PvP location, your timer always uses the rules for PvP respawn, even if you select a PvE location. Interesting. Okay. Vehicles. See, and this is where the issue is here. This is where the biggest issue for me is. In order to make hauling large amounts of cargo to and from deep desert, we've increased the storage capacity of the assault ornithopter. No. Clue is in the title. It's an assault ornithopter. It's an attack ornithopter, an attack helicopter. It's an Apache. I don't care, whatever you want to call it. It's not cargo. Do something else to give us cargo. Just doesn't make sense to me. The amount of inventory slots have increased from 15 to 20, and the volume's gone from 1,000. I mean, look, it's going to help me when I'm out farming spice or something like that. I can load up with more spice before I fly back, but I'd rather be doing it in a proper, I don't know, blockade running style thing than an assault thopter. Missile locked in a vehicle gives you a sound alert. Ornithopter rocket's more accurate. Ornithopter trail and flare. Okay. Ornithopter rockets, rockets, improvements made. And again, when you look at the vehicle changes here, what does that tell you? It tells you that everybody and their mum is literally flying around in ornithopters all the time, fighting in ornithopters. Where is all the ground combat that they showed in the original video? And it's because the deep desert's been designed around a point where the only way to really get around it is via ornithopter. We need places like the big chasm, the big gorge where you get your cobalt paste. You need somewhere like that, where you're not flying ornithopters around, that's big enough to make it worth having bases and buggies and bikes and everything else. Yeah. The sandworm will now check if there are players or vehicles nearby when selecting a location for the breach animation. Okay. Auto run toggle. So far, I am not seeing anything here which makes it sound like this is a DLC. This is a patch. Like, this is, other than the bit of extra story, and we'll see how big the story is. We're going to play it, right? We'll see how big that story is. But this don't sound like much of a DLC to me. They did add more medium spice blades in the PvE areas of the deep desert. They removed the quicksand to make ground vehicles able to traverse deep desert. Yeah, but think about when you're traversing the deep desert, you're not going to be fighting on those sand areas, right? Because the worm, right? The whole point was showing the ground combat, people running around in buggies and bikes and, you know, fighting in ground combat. Why would you do that when you can just fly around in thopters? You know? There doesn't seem much point to be doing anything else in the deep desert running around in a thopter. Whereas if you look at pretty much everything once you get to Jabal Efrit, the chasm, shield wall, everything else in Haga Rift, actually you can do all of that on the ground. You don't need a thopter. A thopter helps with the elevation stuff, but you can still drive everywhere. And you don't have to worry about the worm. And that's what I'm saying, is if we're going to have these battles with stuff going on with people on the ground, you're not going to do it when you're going to get hit by the worm. Story and journey, new player experience. So this is the DLC journey. So this is the only bit so far I've read that really makes this a DLC, right? Which is new content, properly new content, as opposed to patch notes. Story is cool. They did a great job with the story in the base game. We'll see how the DLC story is. So I'm hoping for good things, but we'll see if this has been rushed. An armor set. Yeah, okay. It's not. It's just a minor addition to a DLC, right? It's just cosmetic. I believe it's just cosmetic. Actually, that'd be worth checking. Are they just cosmetic, or do they actually have special stats? Contracts can be tracked from map marker. 3 new codex entries to the Great Convention. New dialogue characters. Some of which have contracts to offer. So there should be some new contracts available in Hagar Basin, Arakeen, and Harco Village. Okay. Quicksand has been removed in the deep desert. Yeah, but yes, you can cross the borders on foot and in ground vehicles, but you can't run around on the sand because of the worm. And the last time I was in the deep desert, once you get past the shield wall area, it's like tiny little rock outpost islands with vast amounts of sand in between. Where are you going to fight on foot and in a vehicle? Like, how are you even going to get it there in the first place? New story, content, location, new caves to explore in deep desert shield wall, new desert layouts, increased rocky island density. Okay, so we're saying there might be some more rock islands. Hopefully. It's a bit barren out there last time I was there. New visuals, improved performance. Okay, spice field generation adjusted to allow. Okay. It's now only possible to purchase from the Landsraad reward vendors if you switch to the faction before the term starts. Okay, that makes sense. Alright. I mean, it's showing a lot more there, but again, look at the amount of sand here. Like, where are you going to fight around here on buggies and bikes and stuff without the worm gobbling you up? User interface. Oh, they've messed around with the permission roles. So 5 is owner, whereas it used to be 1. So we're going to have to make sure those are all the right way around. Hotkeys for switching seats in vehicles. That's cool. Now that I really like, because it was always a pain to go to the command wheel to then choose the gunner seat in the buggy to then mine hotkeys. I don't mind if there's a cooldown. That's absolutely fine. I get that. PvP and all that sort of stuff. But hotkeys, lovely. Okay. Roll headers. Vehicle HUD. Vehicle temperature. Modified ornithopter artificial horizon for better visibility in daylight. Make it green. Like, just make it like green, like every other head-up display that's ever been made. I hope it's clearer. I hope it's really much clearer. But I mean, it should have been easy. Make it green. Ping a person. Add a tick top right. Add a PS5. Yeah, okay. Controllers. Okay. Added map markers to the legend. Update. Okay, this is all. Again, none of this is DLC in my mind. When you look, okay, here's a great example. Look at the Path of Exile 2 0.3 free update, and look at this. Path of Exile 2 update did tons more stuff, added tons more new content completely free. The game's also going to be free to play when it's released, and you can buy into it right now for $30. Yeah. Improved anime, yeah, okay. Audio, other. Yeah, okay. Bunch of fixes. Glitches. Combat. Okay. I'm not seeing anything major here. Bunch of fixes, graphics. This is all packed, and that's the end of it. Okay. So, a bit of a story, some armor sets, some customizations, and a vehicle that I'm really not quite sure I see the point of. Okay, it goes backwards pretty fast as much as it goes forwards. But isn't it basically just a slightly different version of a sandbike that goes faster backwards? Of all the things, of all the vehicles I'd want in the game, it's probably the least interesting thing I could think of right now. Okay. Alright, well, the next thing to do, now we've looked at the patch notes, before we start the game, is let's see what people think of it. Mostly negative. 23%. So, holy moly, 77% of the 316 user reviews for the game are negative. Ooh. That does not bode well. Low effort trash. Small island in the middle with 3 sets of boring low effort quests. Okay, he's not happy. The building set is only 4 pieces. Ouch. Storyline is free. You can access it without the DLC. This has a side quest. Vehicles are reskin of the bike. Yeah, we kind of said that. Armor cosmetics are recolors of existing armor. Okay. Do not buy, do not play. Okay. New vehicle. DLC slap in the face, 4 building pieces, 5 decorations. I mean, you're not wrong. That's just Twitch drops. I mean, I get the positive ones here, but when you sit there and think how much the DLC costs versus what you're getting for it, I can see why people are unhappy. Right? Because you're paying for a level of content. It's listed as a major update. So yeah, it's $13, right? And it's, you know, when you see the adverts for this, it's like it's a major update. Alright, well, enough talking. Let's start playing. So we did log on earlier just to open the base up again, because obviously I shut it down while I was away for 5 weeks with work and vacation. So I wanted to shut it down so I didn't use too much fuel, but I did open it all up this morning. So we are good to go from power, equipment, and everything else perspective. Okay, so let's start with... Let's see, we got a new journey, right? Which is here. Listen to distress call. Reach the crash site northwest of Griffin's Reach trade post. Okay, so we're going to track that one. And research. Is it here or is it in crafting? Actually, no, it's here, isn't it? Ah, these are the armor sets. Okay, show stats. So you get planetologist ability cooldowns. Blade mitigation plus 12%. Mentat. Okay, let's check the trooper, because that's... Trooper ability cooldowns. It's good armor, 425. It's basically heavy armor, right? So if that gives 2%, 1%, that's 4%, 6%, 7%. So you get a 7% cooldown. And you need duraluminum. So it's duraluminum and spice infused duraluminum. That's easy enough to do. Huh. Interesting. So it does give you a little bit of something specific. It's not just a skin. Right, okay. First things first then. Let's go and get ourselves kitted up since we're going to go some story missions. What have you been up to? Okay, you've been making Stravidium. Let's just put you away. Ooh. Right. We've got plenty of silicon blocks, got plenty of cobalt paste there. We've got 1,000, 1120, bunch of fuel. That's all looking good. Bunch of fuel here, bunch of spice residue, 2,700 more cobalt paste, and a bit of fuel. Okay. Alright. That's the granite, that's the plastone deposited. Okay. Right, so those doors are all looking good. Right, we can get some of these up. We're capped, so we're already at the cap for water. Okay, so can't do anything with that. Not a bad thing. Gear wise, which gear am I looking for? Is it in this one or is it in this one? I think it's in this one, right? So let's get rid of that. Can't get rid of those. Okay, so what have we got here? Sentinel jacket, pants, boots, helmet, blood extractor, med kits. Gloves. Plenty of that. Okay. Oop. Right. Let's equip. Oh. Man, I gotta remember the buttons. I haven't played this for so bloody long. Equip. No, that's the wrong one. There we go. Yeah, I was playing Path of Exile yesterday, so I'm kind of all out of sync. Let's put a blood extractor in here, but we need a blood pack storage. Okay. We'll keep that with us. Scanner, welding torch. Okay, that's all useful to keep. Weapon-wise, that all looks good. That's a little bit... we need to look at the durability on that. I'm going to lose that soon. Large blood sack. We've got a bunch of fuel in here as well. What's going on here? Let's put that there. And then in this buggy, we're going to put this fuel because it shouldn't be in here. Okay.